Okay, so today we continue with our class Hilchot Talmud Torah, and we continue with Sefer Shmiras Haloshon, and the topic is negative commandments. So it says in his introduction to Sefer Chafetz Chaim, the Chafetz Chaim enumerates 17 negative commandments which one may violate when speaking or listening to Lashon Hara. 17 negative commandments. Below negative commandments, most commonly transgressed. Number 1, you shall not be a gossip monger among your people. Vayikra 19:16. Okay. Number 2, do not accept false report. Shmos 23:1, which prohibits both speaking and accepting Lashon Hara. Do not accept false report. Speaking and accepting. Okay. Number 3, beware of tzaras affliction. To be very careful not to act, says Dvarim 24:8, which Sefer explains as a reference to Lashon Hara, which tzaras is a punishment. So tzaras is a spiritual disease, right? That some kind of spots. Number 4, number 4, and you shall not place stumbling block before the blind. Vayikra 19:14, by causing others to sin. So meaning a person start speaking and they listen, right? Or they believed. So all of this is sins for the person who believed and listened, and of course it is a separate sin to the speaker, because he put a stumbling block before the blind. He told them a very juicy story. Next one, number 5. Take care lest you forget HaShem, your God. Dvarim 8:11. Through arrogance, Sota 5a, a prime cause of Lashon Hara. Right. So arrogance. So if a person thinks that he's better or she's better than everybody else, and I have this talent and this physical feature, like I'm beautiful, I'm this and that. Okay, so that's why that's one of the reasons, one of the main reasons when people speak Lashon Hara. Okay, number 6, you shall not desecrate my holy name. Okay, so one of the explanation is Hashem said not to do it, and person does it. So the desecration of holy name. Number 7, you shall not hate your brother in your heart. Right, so meaning what? Somebody did something to you, so you have to, as we said many times, you have to forgive person completely with all your heart. And why people speak Lashon Hara? Because they still have grudge against someone. Okay, so if it's not for constructive purpose, you're not allowed to talk. Otherwise, the person would have transgress this commandment. Number 8, you shall not take revenge. Okay, that's obvious. Number 9, and you shall not bear grudge. So revenge and grudge, as we explained, that's two separate things. Number 10, that he not be like a Korach and his assembly, who causes strife among the Jewish people. So one thing is when a person is speaking about one individual, it's like personal hatred or personal agenda. But here is the story of the Korach when he tried to organize the groups. Like unfortunately, all these politics in the synagogues, in other everywhere. It's not only in synagogues. Everywhere you have you have on your job, you have this manager, people like this manager, but don't like that manager, so they get against this for this, right? So don't break people in groups, basically. Number 11, each of you shall not aggravate his fellow through hurtful words. Right? So do not offend, basically, people. Number 12, you shall reprove your fellow and do not bear sin because of him. right? Because otherwise, if we don't reprove our fellow, at least we try. So all of this, whatever he does, is actually going to be on our account. As Vayikra 19:17 states, by embarrassing him in the course of your reproof. Okay, that's another explanation. Right? So as we say, when we want to reprove to work, so it has to be like with gentle words, right? Maybe a little with maybe little strong words, but you have to show that person that you care about him or her, and you care about their best interest, right? To change. Okay, that's why you're saying whatever you say, not to embarrass, because if you start like this conversation in embarrassing form, first of all, nobody's going to change guaranteed, right? And what did you achieve? Nothing. I mean, you did achieve the hatred and transgressing this commandment. Continue. 5 remaining negative commandments are found in the Shmiras Haloshon. I'm not sure why they did not mention, but Beezrat HaShem, after we finish this book, maybe we go to another book. Also, the original. So this book, just so we know, it's not the original. It's like interpretation. It's based on the Chafetz Chaim and Shmiras Haloshon. It's two separate books combined into one and breaking in a lesson a day. Okay, but there is original Chafetz Chaim that I have. Okay, so we stop here. So we continue with our Hilchot Talmud Torah. And then we started last time. We started chapter 6, and then Halachah number 3. So it says as follows. Number 3: it is not proper for a scholar to trouble the people and position himself before them, so they will have to stand for him. So let's see. Rather, he should take the shortcuts and have the intent that they should not see him, so that he will not trouble them to stand. The sages would take a circular route through the outskirts of their cities, where people who recognize them would not be found, in order not to trouble them. So you see, it's B'siyata Dishmaya, right? With God's help, we had one of the questions that was asked on a group is if a person should be humble, right? And what is humility like? What is it? So, and HaShem sent us in the first Halachah. He sent us how a Torah scholar. We're not talking about average people like us, right? We're talking about the greatest of the greatest Torah scholars, and who have all of the reasons to be arrogant, right? Because of the Torah they possess, but they act very humbly, right? They would go outside of the city, on outskirts where the fields were, so nobody see them, and nobody would not have to stand or stop their work in order to show them respect. That's the Torah. So of course the society today is exactly opposite, but so people do all of the entrances, so everybody would see, everybody cheer and stand up, but that's not the ways of the Torah. So let's do from the beginning commentary, and we're going to add some explanations as well. Beezrat HaShem. It is proper for a scholar it is not proper for a scholar to trouble people and position himself before them, so they will have to stand for him. So meaning position he would come later, go through the aisle, make sure that everybody came, everybody's sitting there, he would come 15 minutes later, right? So everybody would stand up. That's not Jewish way, right? So commentaries say Kiddushim 33b derive this concept through the exegesis of the verses in Leviticus quoted above. Okay, no problem. Continue. Rather, he should take a shortcut and to have the intent that they should not see him. I mean, come from the back, from the side, or somehow, or come earlier, so they would not have to stand for him. right? So we're talking about scholars that not a person, a primary teacher. So if primary teacher, we said you have to stand and as soon as you see him and you cannot sit down, that's a different story. But somebody who is just a great Torah sage, only when he's passing you in a proximity of 4 amos, which is 8 feet, a little less, 7 to 8 feet. So only then you have to stand, right? So these sages, so and it's not this sage, it's a halacha for everybody. So for all of the people of respect, so they have to conduct themselves, try to not to bother people, right? Come, do a shortcut, so they would not come into this proximity of 7 people. This is 7 feet. Commentary. And Kiddushin, unbelievable. Kiddushin 33a, so it's a Talmud, promises a scholar a long life for the following this practice. That's amazing, right? So on one hand, we say we must respect the scholars, and we don't respect the scholar as a person, even but we respect him for a person, as a person for the Torah that he possesses. That's main idea. It's not like because he's handsome or I don't know, tall or short or whatever. So we respect him for the Torah. And we have to respect them, and they have to be very humble. And for this humility, guess what? It's actually the answer to our question that we're going to give at the end of the class, Beezrat HaShem. So it's not for free. It's not for free. So HaShem said, I recognize how hard for you to be humble, especially when somebody is very knowledgeable. You ask this person any questions, and he gives you like a brilliant answer. Like half an hour shiur on any topic that you want, right? So, and as a reward, so he's promised long life for following this practice. Okay, for following this practice. Continue. The sages would take circular routes, so they would go around the city, like nobody see them, right? And do not bother anybody. That's how humble they were. Routes through the outskirts of their city, where people who recognize them would not be found, right? Maybe farmers like spread out in their fields, but not somebody like they would meet, in order not to trouble them. Commentary. So again, so we're not obligated to run on the streets and find Torah scholar and show them respect. Okay, if you meet one, yeah, you have to show respect. So these people try to, this great, that's our sages try to behave like that. Not to be like, not to put people in that situation. So commentators say in Kiddushin 33a, mentioned that Abaye and Rabbi Zera, the greatest of the great, would follow this practice. The Bnei Binyamin notes the apparent contradiction between the Rambam's statements and Bamidbar Rabbah 15:17. Okay, there the Medrash relates that Rav Abba Cohen would always avoid crowds lest he troubled them by causing them to rise. Okay, I'm not sure what's the contradiction. When he mentioned this to Rabbi Yossi, the son of Rabbi Zevida, okay, different rabbi, the latter reprimanded him, explaining that he would be doing them a great favor by having them stand before him, because this would lead to the fear of God, as implied in Vayikra, same place. Stand up before the white-haired man, and you shall fear your God. So okay, so in a Talmud, it's what is it? Medrash, right? So this Medrash says the opposite. So one rabbi was acting like that, very humbly, and another rabbi, he rebuked him like you taking an opportunity, you taking a mitzvah from these people, right? That there is a mitzvah to stand up before the scholar. It's easy mitzvah, right? They don't have to like invest too much money or too much time. And with this mitzvah, they're going to show that so that this mitzvah would lead them to fear God. Okay, Right? So you say that you deprive them of the mitzvah. Continue. Very interesting approach. But it's not halacha. So halacha is like Rambam. The Bnei Binyamin explained that everything depends on a scholar's intention. A righteous man who is not at all motivated by self-interest may appear before crowds. However, a person who is concerned with our pride, with his own pride, should avoid them. So, and a simple explanation is, okay, they have to respect you as a scholar. Maybe somebody is not going to respect you, right? So it's going to, like, and you're going to get angry at him, or it's going to create machlokes between the people, between you students and this person. So they said, no, he's a great rabbi, you have to respect them. Said, no, who is he, and stuff like that. So so it's not so simple, right? And plus it's depends on a person's self-interest. As Rabbi Reuven Shlita said a few times already about Rabbi Israel Salanter Zatzal, right, who was in the head of father of Musar movement. So he changed his character to that point. I don't remember what is the exact expression, but the meaning of that expression is that he was indifferent whether you give him a compliment or you curse him. It's all the same to him, so it does not affect him. It's very interesting, but for many people it do affect us, right? So if you're not on that level, so don't ask the question that you're not ready to receive an answer, or you're not ready to follow. If you ask the advice, don't ask a person who might give you a truthful advice and that you don't want to follow. Okay, meaning that advice is good for you, but that's not what you want to do. Okay, next halacha number 4. Riding is considered to be walking, just as one stands before a scholar who is walking, so one should stand before one who is riding. It's very interesting. Okay. So riding meaning what? That he's sitting. Okay, if he's walking, okay, if he's walking, I understand. He's walking towards me. He's passing me in a radius of 7 feet, so I have to stand up. I understand that. But if he's sitting, so I'm sitting on a bench, and he's in his car. Let's say he's on his donkey passing by. So he's sitting, I'm sitting. Why should I stand? Right? That's the logic. So we said no. Halachah says no. Riding is considered to be walking. So meaning that he's standing. Commentary. That is, we do not say that since the scholar is seated on his animal, it is not considered as he is walking. However, meaning that we have to stand up. However, in other contexts, in the Hilchot Kriyat Shema, chapter 2, Halachah 2 and 3, the Rambam consider riding compares to sitting. So if I remember correctly, so in that case it says that if a person cannot stop, so he's riding on an animal, let's say in the morning, right, and time came to say the Shema, and let's say he's a part of the caravan and he's afraid if he's going to stop, he would get lost, or bandits are going to attack him if he's of the animal. So in this case we continue. And in order to preserve his peace of mind, continue him to ride on an animal. And in this case, it's considered to be sitting. So because the proper, when you say Shema, is sitting. Even though if you said Shema standing, there is no problem whatsoever, but it's proper to sit. One of the explanations that you have a better concentration. But in the Talmud, there are opinion like this and like that. Okay, so continue with that number 4. Just as one stands before a scholar who is walking, so one should stand before one who is riding. Okay, so I mean today I think it's much easier. Riding meaning what? Riding, I guess, in a car. So usually people don't walk. Actually, no. If you close to the curb and they like it just stopped the car and then next to you, yeah, you would have to stand. I mean, you walking. I don't know. Do people sit so close to the road? Maybe yes, maybe no. I don't know. Okay. So commentaries say, Kiddushin 33a relates that Abaya would stand as soon as he saw the donkey of Rav Yosef, his teacher, approach. Right. Very interesting. Number 15. Continue. Next halacha, number 5. When 3 people are journeying together, the master should walk in a center, a student of the greater statue on his right, and one of the lesser statue is on his left. Okay, so let's see. And it's proper approach, like always. So it's not even joining. Let's say Rabbi said, let's go to another room and we're going to, I don't know, to pray, right? So okay, that's the right approach. How we follow Rabbi. So let him go first. Don't walk in front of him. Okay, so number 5 again from the beginning with commentaries. So it says when three people are joining together. Commentary. This addition was made on the basis of Halachot Maimonides, who maintains that this law does not apply when each individual is joining separately, involved in his own affairs. Okay, meaning, so he says if they going like on the same road, but like separate agendas, right? So that's a difference. But here he's saying when 3 people are going for the same, they have the same cause. Okay, so from the beginning again, when the 3 people are joining together, the master should walk in a center and student of the greatest statue on his right. Commentary, following slightly behind. So let Rabbi or the leader walk ahead and you keep a little behind. On the right, slightly behind him. For one who walks alongside the teacher is considered a bur. So bur is not the biggest compliment, to say the least. It's opposite to the compliment. So bur is usually we explain is a person who does not know anything or hardly knows anything in Torah, and plus has no manners. That's the bur. Okay. And the one of the lesser statue is on his left. So that's so the question is always asked. So how do you know who is a higher statue, who is lesser statue? So that's for me like it shows about person's arrogance, that like he's already arguing, right? Maybe I'm greater statue. So let the person, let the another person, it's not clear who is a greater statue, so let him or her walk on like him. Let him walk on the right. That's it. You will walk on the right, on the left. So commentaries say in the Talmud Yoma 37a derives this formation from the pattern, means the angels who visit Abraham in Bereshit chapter 18 walked. This formation was also employed by the Kohen Gadol and his subordinates when he would serve in the temple. So same the most important, like he has his deputy would be on the right and somebody else is on the left. Okay. And some so he has the deputy and another very important person. I think he was in charge of the whole shift. I think that's the title. The Pri Hadash and the other commentaries questioned the case of Mishnah's interpretation. One point of difficulty with the Halachah in general is that it appears to refer to one's personal teacher, and thus it would be more appropriate to have been mentioned in a previous chapter. I mean, even if this person, let's say, I'm not sure. For me, there is no contradiction. So if I know this more prominent person, like respected rabbi, So let him be in a center. I mean, me and another person agreed that he's a bigger Talmid Chacham than two of us. So let him be a leader. What is the problem? Right? Needless to say, your personal teacher, but even somebody else. If we're on travel for the same reason, so as a group, so show him respect. Okay. So continue. Number 6. One who sees a scholar need not stand in deference to him until he reaches within the 4 cubits of him. Since he has passed, he may sit. I think we spoke about it before, but okay. Okay, so continue. Should one see a Av Beis Din, one should stand in deference to him from the time he sees him, as far as the eye can see. He may not sit until he has passed 4 cubits beyond him. Should one see a Nasi, one should stand in deference of him from the time he sees him, as far as the eye can see, and he may not sit until he has reached the place or pass beyond the field of vision and is hidden. Should a Nasi desire to waive the honor of due to him, he may forgo it. So it's not so simple. 1 second. Continue, next page. When the Nasi enters the house of study, all of the people should stand. They may not sit until he tells them to. When the Av Beis Din enters, 2 rows are open for him, and the people stand in either side. The people stand on either side until he enters and sits in his place. The other people remain seated in their places. Okay, so let's see who is the Nasi, who is Av Beis Din. So it's not so simple. So you see that we show these people, even they are not your direct rabbi, not the rabbis that you learn most of your Torah from, right? Such a big respect. So do we have these people today? Let's see. So it says from number 6 from the beginning with commentary, and we're going to explain it. One who sees a scholar need not to stand in deference to him until he reaches within 4 cubits of him. Once he passed, he may sit. So you have a big rabbi coming to you, 8 feet. It'll less than 7 to 8 feet. He passed you. So let's say as they say, for example, I think it's a good example. So you're on a chuppah, right? And the very important person was called to give a blessing, let's say, right? And he's passing, you're sitting in the aisle seat, right? So you have to stand up, right? But maybe 2nd seat, 3rd seat, but 4th seat, like from the aisle, they don't have to stand up. I mean, if they want, they can, but there is no obligation, right? But okay. But usually, as we said in first Halachah, I mean, Halachah number 3, these people try to arrive early. They sit or they enter from the back, so people don't have to stand up for them. That's the proper procedure. But let's see. The Halachah is entirely quoted from a Medrash Hagadol, Shmos 33:8, with slight textual differences. It also appears in 33b, Kiddushin 33b. Nevertheless, the question arises, why does the Rambam mention this particular clause? It appears redundant in light of Halachah 1. Perhaps his intent was to emphasize the contrast between the ordinary scholar and other of the great stature. Okay. So for ordinary scholar, as we said, there is limited respect, but for these great people, greater respect. Okay. So greater people in Torah, and of course in Torah observance, in character development, in everything, not just because of his title. As as we learned from our sages, the title of Kohen Gadol was actually for sale in a second Beis Hamikdash. So if you paid enough, I'm not sure if they would like some kind of auction. Was it open? I don't remember how did it go. Was it open, or it was like in a sense of the bribe? But it was known fact that you would be able, if you have enough money, you can buy the title of the Kohen Gadol. Unfortunately. Okay. So continue. Should one see the Av Beis Din? So Av means father, the head of the Beis Din. One should stand in deference to him from the time he sees him, as far as the one eye can see. So that's a very big respect. So let's see, who is this person? The sage second is statue to Nasi. And who acts in latter's assistant? So okay, so let's see. Are they going to explain? It's Hilchot Sanhedrin 1:3. Okay, let's see what they say, and then we're going to add. The laws regarding the Nasi in Av Beis Din, also quoted in Shulchan Aruch, Yoredea 244, 13 and 15 through 15, which in contrast to the Mishnah Torah, mention only those halachas that are applicable in the present age. The Sefer coin questioned this inclusion, noted that today's Rashi Yeshivos and Avos Beis Din are not paid the same token respect as Nasi Av Beis Din mentioned here. So most likely, since it was I mean, how to explain it? It's I'm not sure 100%. So looks like initially, let's put it this way. Initially, we had this great Sanhedrin, 71 sages. So 71st was Nasi, the prince, like on top of everybody, and his assistant was Av Beis Din. So let's say he was 71st, and this one 70s, and all other like regular sages, not regular, some of the highest statue, lowest statue, but regular. But these were those two were separate like titles. So this Nasi was in charge, in some sense, of Jewish education throughout the whole country, right? So, and this Av Beis Din was in charge of all the Beis Din affairs. I mean, he's like a helper, right? But very important helper. So today, what commentators say today, the one who is in charge of Jewish education, which is Rosh Hashiva. Rosh Hashiva is the head of yeshiva, but usually, you see, the thing is that he's usually head of one yeshiva, not head of like 10 yeshivas. I mean, maybe it's like there is some like yeshiva that were opened by one person, but still there's like local Rosh Hashiva in that yeshiva. So today, as the commentators say, I'm not sure how is it applied. And Av Beis Din also, so there are many Beis Dins. Of course, there are like the grand Beis Din of Yerushalayim, the main Beis Din. I'm not sure if in Israel they have a main Beis Din. I'm not sure. Right? In America, they don't have like one. There are many. Like they could be respectable, more respectable, like, but not on the level of Sanhedrin for sure. Okay, so that's why the question if it's actually applied today. But anyway, if Shulchan Aruch, so Rambam said, what is the difference between Rambam and Shulchan Aruch? We have to know, right? Shulchan Aruch, it's much shorter than the Rambam. The Rambam's law, but he incorporated only what is relevant today. So Shulchan Aruch was 350 years after Rambam, plus minus 300, 400 years after Rambam, right? So Rambam actually encoded halachas for all of the Torah, everything, 613 mitzvahs. Whether apply today, it does not apply. It's irrelevant. It is there. It's Rambam, but Shulchan Aruch incorporate only what is applicable today. So some things that are not in Shulchan Aruch, and if you need the answer, you go to Rambam. Okay. So that's why it's on one hand Rambam put it in his halacha. That's understandable because he has all of the halachas. But the surprise is why Shulchan Aruch said it. So there is some relevant. What I'm trying to say, there is some relevance to us today. Okay, so that's the main point. So one more time this sentence. Should one see that Av Beis Din, he should stand in deference to him upon the from the time he sees him, as far as the eye can see. 21. There is as soon as Av Beis Din appears on the horizon. Okay, today maybe because we have all of the buildings, all of the rooms, so you don't have to you most probably you see him only from several feet away. If you're inside, if you're outside, maybe more. Continue. He may not sit until he has passed 4 cubits beyond him. So here, this Av Beis Din, so he's second in command, and we treat him as a very important Torah scholar. On one hand, right? Passes until he has 4 cubits beyond him. Okay. So continue. Should he see a Nasi? So Nasi is a higher level, and Nasi is a prince. Commentaries say Hilchot Sanhedrin. The Rambam describes this position as follows: the wise sage among them is appointed to be the head. Okay, he's a Rosh Yeshiva. He's a person from the sages referred to as Nasi in all the sources, taking place of Moshe, our teacher. So this Nasi is a Rosh Yeshiva, head of Yeshiva, and he can have a Beis Din. So he does not have to be preside all the Beis Din. Beis Din could be one of the things that one of the services that Yeshiva provides, right? So he's higher than our Beis Din. Okay, a second. So one more time the whole sentence. One should see the Nasi. One should stand in deference to him from the time he sees him, as far as I can see. He may not see until he reach his place, or pass beyond the field of the vision and is hidden. So meaning here is a much stricter. I mean, we show this Nasi person the much more respect that we show to the Av Beis Din, his assistant. Commentary in Kiddushim, same place, derives it from Exodus 33:8, which relates that whenever Moshe went out to the tent, all the people would rise. Right? That's a clear verse in the Torah. Each person would stand near his tent, gazing at the Moshe until he came to the tent. Okay. So it was 23. Continue. Should the Nasi desire to waste his honor to do him, he may forgo it. Commentary. There is all the people are obligated to honor Nasi. Should he desire to forgo those honors, there is no objection. I mean, he said, do not stand up, please. For example, he's Rosh Yeshiva, so he does not want people when he goes into the main studies section, right? Right? So everybody would rise. No, it's like would be like the interruption to their Torah study. He would prefer the way they continue sitting. That's so it's totally understandable why he would want to forgo his honor. In a contrast, a king may never forgo his honor and must constantly be treated with reverence. That's very interesting. So it's like for all other people, yes, they can, but not for the king. I'm not sure Kohen Gadol I don't think he also can forgo his honor. I'm not sure. I don't think so. So they say, see Hilchas Melachim 2:3. Kiddushin 23b relates the following discussion of this law. An incident occurred when Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yehoshua, Rabbi Tzadok were participated in the wedding feast of Rabbi Gamliel's son, and Rabban Gamliel poured the drinks for them. So Rabban Gamliel was, of course, he was the greatest of them all, right? But it was his son's wedding. He had a good time, and he poured them drink, right? So like your teacher pours you drink. The biggest of the bigs of generation pours you a drink. So what do? He offered the cup to Rabbi Eliezer, but he refused to accept it. He offered a cup to Rabbi Yehoshua, and he accepted. Rabbi Eliezer told him, I like these dialogues, right? Yehoshua, what is this? We are sitting and Rabban Gamliel is pouring drink for us? Like you normal, Yehoshua? Right? And he replied to him, meaning Yehoshua, Rabbi, I mean, for us it's Rabbi Yehoshua, answer to Rabbi Eliezer. We find precedent where a person of greater stature served others. Abraham surpassed all others in his generation, yet in Bereshit 18:8 relates that he stood over them to serve them. Right? Do not think that he thought they were angels. He thought that they were Arabs, right? So Abraham did not know these people, as Rashi explained, that they were angels. He saw that they were wafers, like Arabs who bowed to the dust on their feet. That's who he thought they were, right? And despite of this, the greatest person of the generation, Abraham, were serving these people, right? As we actually mentioned, like when we mentioned yesterday, so it's proper for a wife to sit down, right, for some time during the meal, in Shabbos meal, and husband help or kids help. Don't have to dump everything on a woman, right? She works enough for to prepare these things, and some of them who is working, they usually skip the whole sleep on Thursday or sleep only a few hours. So we have to show some respect and help. Right? Okay. So of course So if Abraham could help, could wait on these people, Rabbi Gamliel could. So needless to say, us. If so, why shouldn't we let Rabbi Gamliel to serve us? Right? That's what he wants to do. Let him do it. Abraham was doing it, and he was very happy. Rabbi Gamliel, of course, he had all the servants to do that, to serve his guests, but he chose to do it himself. Right? The above laws refers to instance when the scholar is cited in a public public thoroughfare. The following laws apply when he enters in a house of study. Okay, so when it's not religious environment, it's one thing, right? But religious environment, as I say, it's a different category. Hagachot Maimonides, see Hariyot 13b. Okay. Continue. When the Nasi entered, so today it's very interesting. So who did they say Nasi? Who did they call Nasi? So in Hebrew, Nasi is a president also, right? So sometimes in not sometimes, like all the time when you read the translation of the Torah, of the prophets, right, of the Halachos. So sometimes they would not translate and they would say Nasi and explain what does it mean. But when they won't translate the whole text, they would put the word president. So president for us, like it's a little different meaning, right? For example, if the synagogue is owned by the community, right, by the congregation, they hire a rabbi, right, as an employee. So they have a president in charge of all of this, like business affairs, in charge of building, other funds, all of these things. And they call him in Hebrew, they call him Nasi. So and does is he always on the level of the Nasi? Usually not. He's I'm sure that there are presidents like on a higher level, but usually it's not the most like God-fearing people. Let's put it this way. Usually, right? But they call him Nasi, so and they call this clown Nasi, and they call the Avov's not of the head of Sanhedrin Nasi, or the head of Rosh Hashiva, or Rosh Hashiva Nasi. It's a big difference. So sometimes, as I said, that's the reason they do not translate. They call it Nasi. They keep Nasi instead of president. They may not sit until he tells them to. So meaning Nasi, right? We have to respect him. Right? If he entering the study hall, right? All the people should stand, and if he tells us to sit, we sit. When Av Bezdin enters, 2 rows open for him. So what does it mean? 25. At present, when we use auditoriums with fixed seats, the setting for this law is difficult to picture. However, in Talmudic times, people would sit on the floor. When the Av Bezdin arrives, people sitting between the entrance and the place, and his place would stand and create a path for him for two rows wide. So we have to let him go, let him pass. So like in olden days, so everybody was sitting on the ground. So now he has to pass. So everybody would stand and let him. No, not everybody. At least 2 rows would stand and let him pass through. Okay. Any questions on what we said so far? So 1 second. Times. Okay, we have time. So let's try maybe do one more halacha. We go to answer questions and answers. Okay, one more halacha. What is what a scholar when the scholar enters, when he approaches within the 4 cubits of anyone, the latter should stand for him. Thus, one stand and another sits until he enters and sits his place. Right. So he passed me. I stand for this scholar. He's continue walking, so he's more than 8 feet away from me, so I can sit down, but other person, my neighbor, should stand, and then so forth. So it's very interesting. It's like a wave, right? The sons of the students of the scholar may jump over the heads of the people to reach their place when their presence is required by the people at large. Okay, we're going to see what does it mean. It's not so simple, right? It is not praiseworthy for a scholar to enter the house of study last. That's what we spoke before, right? If one leaves to tend his needs, he may return to his place. Right? He needed to go to the bathroom. It's one thing, right? But as we said, today is a little different, or a lot different. So today we have tables and chairs, and everybody's sitting around the table. That's not a problem. When people are sitting on the ground, so now he wants to walk out or walk in, right? So everybody have to move or stand up, like too much bother for the people. Today, when we sit at the tables, as I said, it's not such a common scenario. Okay, so continue. It is not praiseworthy for a scholar to enter a house of study last. So we said, if one leaves to tend his needs, he may return to his place. The children of the scholar who have enough knowledge to listen turn their faces toward their father. If they lack their knowledge to listen, they turn their faces to the people. Very interesting, right? So some people you go to synagogue and you like sometimes you need to walk out oh, Rabbi, you just turn around. And you see the people, they do not even open the seat or open and it's on the page number 4, even though today Shabbos we start with page 300, and they just look like look what's going on around. They never read even one page. That's very interesting, right? So if people like this like children, right? So let them. But for children we understand. Let them face the crowd, but adults should look at this with his book, right? So the children who understand more should face the father and try to learn. But children who did not understand, they, of course, they face the public. Okay. So number 7 from the beginning with all of the commentaries. Says when a scholar enters, commentary, the house of study, a path is not made for him. Okay, so he has to like step. When a scholar enters, when he approaches within 4 cubits, so meaning for Av Beis Din, we said that people stand up, right, and then like they created the row and let him go. But here is like everybody would stand up to make him pass through, right? To allow him to pass through. But here, only one person, he comes 4 cubits, I have to stand. Next person, next. So people 20 cubits away are not obligated to stand at this point. He just entered. That's the difference. So one more time, when the scholar enters, when he appears within the 4 cubits, commentary, Avot HaMelech notes that this figure is not found in Harayas 13b. Okay, the source of this law. Rather, it was added by Rambam based on the logic that no less respect should be paid to a scholar when he enters the house of study than paid to him in a marketplace. So, if in marketplace, which is logical, we're obligated to show him respect when he comes in 4 cubits, needless to say, in the house of study. So in market, like, people do not understand mostly, right? They do not appreciate the Torah or in a full capacity. But here, people do understand. They do appreciate the Torah. Needless to say, they must stand. Right? When he approaches within the 4 cubits, okay, that's what we commented on, of the anyone, and the latter should stand for him. So meaning, as we said, 1 person at a time, 2 people at a time, but only whoever is close to him right now. Commented to allow him to pass. So one more time, talking about situation, everybody sitting on the ground. Thus, one stands and another sits until he enters and sits in his place. The sons and the students of the scholar may jump over the heads of the people to reach their places when their presence is required by the people at the large. So let's see who are these people. It's very interesting. The commentaries say there are many students whose presence is invaluable asset to the teacher, for through their questions they enable their teacher to penetrate into the core of the subject matter. Therefore, they are allowed to proceed to their places at the front of the house of study, even if doing so somewhat distortious to the people who are already taken places. So here is a close student of this rabbi. So he's going to give a class. He's going to give a lecture to many people, right? But these students that were very close to him, and they would help him to develop the subject even better. How? They would ask them questions. So I mean, sometimes for that person, when he's saying it's obvious, whatever he in his mind, right? I know, at least for me, sometimes like in my mind I explain everything very, very clear, but then somebody asks me a question and they say, oh, maybe after all I was not as clear, right? So a person asks the question, so I have to clarify it. So it helps me to develop my explanations ability, right, skills, and helps other people to understand. That's why these people, his close students, are very, very useful, and not only for the rabbi, but for all the other people, the whole audience, because they're going to ask him all of these questions and help him to develop his ideas. Continue. In this way, in Yevamos 105 states, those who are required by the holy nation may step over the heads of the holy nation. So whoever be required for the holy nation may step over the heads of the holy nations. However, how dare one who is not required by the holy nation to step over the heads of the holy nation? So we're going to explain what does it mean, but it's very interesting idea, right? It's not like they step on the heads; they step over people, right? All of the people are sitting. They're not obligated to stand for the students, right? They're not, right? But the students are allowed to step over them. They sit on the ground, as we said, and these people step over them, like over the limbs or whatever, to get to the place in front of the hall right close to Rabbi. So one more time, let me read, and we're going to explain. So we said it's those who are required by the holy nation may step over the heads of the holy nation, right? I mean, it's for we are the audience, so we're going to benefit from these people as well. However, how dare a one who is not required to the holy nation, but the Shmendrik ben Shmendrik, right? And he also said, no, I want to go next to the rabbi because why? Because they bring rabbi the food. Sometimes he's too humble, he's not going to eat. So I'm going to eat this whatever they're going to bring us, right? So for these who are required for by the holy nation, it's big praise. But the ones who are just taking advantage of other people, that's not praise, to say the least. Number 30. Continue. It is not praiseworthy for a scholar to enter the house of the study last, right? So now, as we said, like everybody now would stand up. So commentary says, indeed, Brachas 43b lists this as one of the 6 undesirable tendencies of the scholar should guard himself against acquiring. So 6 tendencies, it's not good for a scholar. Otherwise, again, why? Because it's going to lead to arrogance, right? So he should not enter last. Commentary. Doing so considered act of laziness, which causes unnecessary difficulty to the people sitting there. I mean, he comes from the back and he continues to the front. Unless, as we said before, if there are few entrances and he's studying, he's talking to the people, he's helping the public, and he's going to come on time, there is no problem. Let him come on time from another door. So he's not going to bother anybody. If one leaves to tend to his needs, he may return to his place. That's a different case, right? You need to the bathroom, you must go to the bathroom and come back, right? So it says that there is use the toilet, as it says in Talmud Harais. Alternative, this term can be translated as for the necessary purpose, for the purpose that benefits the people at large, right? Tosafos Yamamos 105b. I don't know, maybe he's getting the food. Well, whatever the benefit for the public. He may return to his place. So if he went to the bathroom, like he had no choice, or he went to benefit of the public, yeah. So let him go out and come back. So we're talking about this Torah scholar, because he's going to bother everybody. 34. Forcing people to stand for him second time. So one time is not enough, was not right. Second time, or the scholar stepping over them is not considered to be discourteous, since he was compelled to live by the forces beyond his control, whether it's for benefit of the public or natural needs. However, if he leaves for the other reasons, he should try not to return to his original place. Okay, so you left because you had to go, but stay somewhere in the back. We can manage without it, basically. The children of the scholars who have enough knowledge to listen to their father faces their faces toward the father. So what does it mean? 35 commentary. Although they are not mature enough to merit the distinguished position in the house of the study in their own right, they are allowed to sit before their parents as a gesture of respect to the high communal position of the latter have attained. Rashi Harais 13b. So because of him, because we respect this Torah scholar who gives us lecture, who teaches us, so of course we allow his people, his children, to sit next to him. Okay. So if they have some understandings, so we allow them to face this their father. Continue. Last sentence. If they lack knowledge to listen, they turn their faces to the people. What does it mean? And it's also in Talmud Harai, same place, states that the children are allowed this privilege only during the father's lifetime, by not afterwards. That's very interesting. So while we actually listen to the father, we derive benefit from his Torah. Okay, so we're going to put off his children. Hopefully then they know how to behave a little. But otherwise, yeah, like after his death, we're not obligated to show respect to his children. Okay, so we can stop here. So let's go to the question. So the first question was it? Could you, if somebody can read quickly, what was the first about humility? How humble person should be? How do we know that we are humble? Israel, can you read quickly, please?
I have to open in a minute the WhatsApp, less than a minute.
Okay, okay, please.
This opening now.
Mm-hmm. I think it was something about humility. Mm-hmm.
There it is. A couple more. No, that was later. I have a couple of. How do we know if we are too humble?
Oh, okay, okay. So let's start with this. So how do we know we're too humble? I mean, as we just said, so Torah praises humility very much. It's the best quality, one of the best qualities on one hand, but on another hand, we're not allowed to allow other people walk over us, like, and treat us like garbage. It's also not allowed. So humility, and they have to balance with the self-respect, and with respect from other people. So there's no contradiction. So humble, we should not be like a meek person that afraid of your shadow. It's not humble. It's someone different. So, but humble is good. So how do you know you're not too humble? I don't know. If person suspect that he might be or she might be too humble, so there is room to work on, I think. Okay, what was the first question? Second.
Question is, how do we deal with someone who is always angry and wants to argue for no reason?
Mm-hmm. So it's a very interesting question. So there are some people, angry people, and let's say I give you this example. So I go to shul very early. Like when I walk there, what time is it? Like maybe 5:30. No, like after, before 6 a.m. Before 6 a.m. for sure. So now, for when in the winter time, it's dark. It's very dark, and only a few people on the street, and some people already angry, and they scream on the phone or scream, just curse. It's like, you normal? So you just woke up, I don't know, 15 minutes ago. You're already angry. So. Tell you what, many of the people, so when a person is constantly angry, it's not normal. It's some kind of mental condition, mental disease, and in many cases it's that's it. So we cannot help them, especially if they do not see us as somebody who can help them, right? So the only solution is to stay from these people as far as possible. They're not interested in your opinion. They're there only to yell at you or scream at you or abuse you. So we have to stay away from these people. And it's very interesting, B'siyata Dishmaya. So I've been thinking, after we finish this book, I apologize, taken back. After we're going to finish this section, it's not much left. Not much left at all, right? So I'm planning to start totally different section, totally different class. So in this class, we're going to see what HaShem wants from us. Like, and the book is called Pele Yoetz. It's very interesting. So this great rabbi, so he went on a subject. So he would take subject, as we just discussed, anger, and he would discuss everything. I think he's going in alphabetic order. So all of these different character traits, he's going to explain very details with example from the Torah. It's unbelievable. It's one of the classic Musar books, Pele Yoetz. So, and of course, I mean, I give just short answer, but this of course the much longer answer with details. But that short answer, try to stay away from these people who are always angry, because they're not whatever you do, you're not going to appease them. Simple. Okay, so what is it? Oh, the next question I remember about this Xmas party. So, right, so of course we're not to say that we're not allowed to come. So they make it as a holiday party, especially in this year when the Hanukkah starts before the Avodah Zarah holiday, and then one of the Hanukkah nights is going to be on that day. So guess what? People they're going to put menorah, big menorah, electric menorah, whatever. They're going to even say, okay, you can light menorah. What is the problem? What is why you're not why do you don't want to come to celebrate with us? Everybody together. We respect these people, that people. What is the problem? What is the problem with you? Of course, and if you say so, just so you know, right? So you say, no, but the food is not kosher. Oh, food, we're going to order the food. So the problem is not with the food. The problem is we're not allowed to be around these idol worshippers and see how they behave, right? And how they talk, how they eat, and how they dress, right? It's very simple, right? So we have to avoid it as much as possible, right? So make any excuse you want. And there's no problem. But if a person has no, they say, head of HR came over and say you must be there, otherwise you're going to let you go, whatever it is. So you're allowed to come, say hello to everybody, they take the bottle of water or whatever, Coca-Cola, whatever is kosher drink there, walk around, so make sure that everybody sees you and disappear. That's what we do, right? So I mean, when I was working for that company, they would try every year, but I would make all of the excuses. I said, no, I have a class. They say, yeah, but the class you can. I say, I cannot come. I cannot cancel class. Yeah, I'm giving the class. I cannot cancel. So all of this year, we had class and that they did not. It did not make any difference. I have a class with myself. I have to learn Torah, so I cannot. Okay, so. In this case, we are allowed to lie a little, right? Or not lie, but to tell them the partial truth. So I have a class. So of course, if I say I have a class and I did not have class on that day, let's say, right? So I would make sure that I would come and say, make class with myself, with my wife, with my kids, with somebody, right? Okay, that's also class. Okay, so and I would explain, people would not learn. If I'm not going to be there, people are not going to study. Is it university? I say it's bigger than university. Oh, bigger? So, okay, but we have to make excuses, try not to be, because of the Tumai, especially if they're Christians. So we learn now about Esau. And if you read the last week Parsha, at the end of the Parsha, they speak about the lineage of Esau and all of these tribes that came from this Esau guy. And you see, like, if you read Rashi, it's like you normal, like all of this incest, like he was with his mother, and then the daughter was born, this Timna, and he took this Eliphaz, took this Timna as a concubine, and from this concubine Amalek came, like. And other, like, if you read Ramban, also, like, you see all these crazy things what going on, like the same names relate to different people, right? Why? Because different fathers, different mothers, and they have relations with each other. And from this Tuma came Esav, came Amalek. No, not Esav, after Esav, his descendants, the Amalek. And after Christianity came to the world, so they inherit all the impurities. So when you go to this party, it's full of impurity. You understand? Of course, they're not open about what they do, but impurity is there. Okay, so go ahead, please. There was another question.
The last part of this is also, what do we say to someone who surprises us with Xmas gift?
Okay, so you can. Okay, that's a very good question. So you allow. I mean, of course, you don't offend the person. So I would say it depends. It depends who people are. So I mean, technically, you can take a gift and then throw out or give to somebody. So for example, when my wife was working, right, in her office, she was like in charge of like a account manager, stuff like that. So she would get on this holiday season, so she told them many times they do not understand. So people do not understand. So they would give her like many gifts, like many gifts, all of these bottles of wine, kosher, not kosher. So of course we don't need that. So and we would give to other people. Of course, after not before their days, but after the New Year's. So we would give to cleaning lady. So in a sense, so I would take some of the gifts to my cleaning crew, wherever people like these people who clean, ladies, like cleaning men, like the guy cleaned the bathroom. No, nobody knows his name. Nobody even talked to him. Nobody says hello. And now I come with all of these cookies, and the guy loved me. And all of the security all love me. Okay, in a sense, so we use these gifts for our advantage. Of course, we did not touch. We didn't want to derive. But from these people, I mean, this guy is going to clean the bathrooms, or this lady is going to continue clean bathrooms, not because of my gifts, right? It has nothing to do. She did not treat me any better. He did not clean bathroom or kitchen or whatever, like whatever he did. Like vacuum the floor better because I gave him. No, he was doing his job, but he was very happy. You understand? So you're allowed to take the gift, but if possible, just say, if I cannot take it. If something like a religious, we have neighbors that downstairs, they will move in and they wanted to give us gifts for not for this Avodah Zarah, but for another Avodah Zarah, for a New Year's, right? I think last year or 2 years ago. So and they like some statues. We said we cannot even take it home. Please, we don't want to offend you, but you're offending us basically. So we push it back, and Baruch Hashem they stop, and we have a very good relationship. But they know like there is a distance. Don't come to us with this nonsense, and that's it. Okay, go ahead. What else?
Nothing else.
Okay, no problem. Any other questions from anybody else? Okay, no problem. So we stop here. So continue tomorrow with our class, Halachos or Brachos. Also, we're close to the end of that book. So I have a next book in mind. Okay, thank you. We start with Kosher Kitchen. Thank you very much. Good night.